Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Kian. I'm a third year medical student, and today I'm going to be sharing my top 10 tips on how you can make beautiful, amazing, efficient, aesthetic, show-stopping, never been done before notes on your iPad. A few things I would like to mention before we get started. There are lots of note-taking apps out there. However, in doing my research, I found that Notability fit my criteria the best. I use the 9.7-inch iPad Pro. I think that the majority of the tips in this video are very applicable to multiple different note-taking applications beyond just the iPad, but just tablets in general. So without further ado, here are my 10 tips. Tip number 1 is to set up your document with 2 columns. This allows you to see everything that you're writing or typing out, so I use this both when I'm typing on my laptop as well as handwriting notes on my iPad. This allows you to see everything you're writing out while in split screen, so you avoid having to use the horizontal scroll. A second benefit to using 2 columns is that you can fit a little more information onto each page. Tip number 2 is to use a grid paper background when you are writing out your notes. This is very helpful for making sure that your writing is aligned vertically. I especially find this helpful when I'm formatting my notes in the nesting technique. Using nested notes is a great way to make your big headings clear, but also include the minutiae and details within your notes. It also makes reading notes really easy when you're going back and revising. Tip number 3, if you want to make beautiful aesthetic diagrams but you lack the time or artistic skill, one thing you can do is drag the image into your note document, outline it with a pen, and fill it in with the highlighter tool, and no one will be the wiser. In doing this process, you will also familiarize yourself a bit with the diagram, as well as learn some spatial relationships. Okay, so to do this image thing, what you want to do is open Notability or your note-taking app, and then you want to swipe up and open Safari. You want to Google your image, so in this case I'm going to do a kidney. You can drag it in, and then you can close Safari by swiping right. If you use 2 fingers or select the scissor tool up at the top, you can click on the image and then you can move it around. Next, what you want to do is select the pen tool, and then you want to outline your image. So see here, I'm going to outline like this. Once you've completed your outline, what you want to do is select the scissor tool once again, and then draw over the entire image. Next, what you'll do is drag your drawing off of the image. Now that it's off of the image, we can click on the image again and delete it. Now that you have your drawing, the next thing you can do is start to fill it in with the highlighter tool. I like the highlighter tool because it's not too harsh and it's pretty forgiving. Tip number 4, which is especially helpful for increasing efficiency, is to use the duplicate function. Use the scissor tool or the dotted line tool and duplicate the text that you want to write out over and over. I find that this is especially useful if you're trying to create templates and you want to reuse the same template each time. Tip number 5 was a really big game changer when I found out that this works. You do need a MacBook and an iPad that are connected in order to do this, and that is using the copy and paste function. This sounds really small, but it is so helpful if you're taking screenshots and importing them into your notes, but you don't want to accumulate screenshots on your desktop. So let's say we are perusing the internet and we find this handy dandy image. What we can do is screenshot it by hitting Command-Shift-4 and then drag your cursor over the part of the image that you want to insert. Now you will see the image pop up in the bottom right hand of your screen. What you want to do is click on it so you can enlarge it, and then hit Command-C to copy the image onto your clipboard. Now we are ready to turn our attention back to the iPad. So open your note-taking tool and then click the scissor tool. Click anywhere on the page and then hit Paste Image. This will take the image that you copied from your MacBook and paste it into your iPad. After the image is inserted, you can go back to your computer, delete the screenshot. This way you're able to prevent the massive accumulation of screenshots on your desktop. You can also use this copy-paste feature with text. So here we can copy these words in our search bar, and then hit the text tool in Notability, and then hit Paste. Tip number 6, use the scissor tool to select text and move it around so that you can reorganize your notes under certain headings or into specific branches of a diagram or a tree so that it makes most sense to you. Tip number 7, when you're writing notes, you want to make these really easy to review. So something that I love to do is synthesize from multiple sources. I like to take information from lecture, from textbooks, from pre-readings, from the internet, and jam it all together in one synthesized condensed note on my iPad. And then when I go back to review, I don't have to sort through multiple sources and a ton of information. I have all the pertinent points, and by using multiple sources, you fill in any gaps that might have been present. Tip number 8, use the iPad to annotate very visual subjects such as anatomy or histology, and in doing this you can even make yourself practice worksheets. One thing that I did for anatomy that was highly effective was that I used school-provided images of our cadavers, labeled them, and then blanked out the labels, and then on my iPad I had a reusable worksheet where I could fill in those labels. Tip number 9, if you're very visual like me and it helps to have things sorted into categories because that's the way your brain works, use the iPad's flexibility to create beautiful flow diagrams and mind maps, making connections between different concepts. Tip number 10, also really helpful for the efficiency side of things, is to use your Notability or your iPad notes and take screenshots of them and then import this into Anki. This is a really great way to have personalized diagrams or notes that mean a lot to you and your memory in your Anki deck, which will increase retention. So if you spend a bit of time synthesizing a beautiful diagram that makes sense to you and pulls a lot of concepts together, what you can do is screenshot it, copy it, and paste it into the extra field of an Anki card. When you create your new card, what you want to do is scroll down to the extra field and then hit paste. Now every time you view this Anki card, you'll be able to see this diagram when you flip it over. Alrighty, that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found some useful tips in there. If you enjoyed it, consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribing, commenting down below, and I will see you next week. Bye!